Now, should you have a blog, a personal blog, if you are an artist and a musician, for example? I would sort of say no, but I guess it depends on what you are actually going to talk about or write about. So, being a blogger and a content creator is, in my opinion, fundamentally different to being a musician and an artist. Because if you're practicing your instrument, which you actually have to do for many, many hours every single day, you're probably not going to be particularly interested in, like, when are you going to create content? Unless you're going to create content that is about you practicing your instrument, then I don't really know what you're going to create content about, if that makes any sense. So in 2013 I tried to actually start my first video blog, and that was a video blog with me playing my guitar and obviously talking about how I was doing the things that I was doing. The very first video that I posted actually got a lot of views, but the number one critique was that people were wondering why I haven't mic'd up my guitar. So that is the problem if you're ever gonna play something and make videos where you're playing guitar, for example, is people are gonna be like, oh, why is the tone like this and this? Or why haven't you, used professional sound gear, to get to the professional sound, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sort of thinking, okay, everyone's complaining about the sound, so the next video I made, I actually did plugging in my guitar, and I recorded the guitar while I was playing it in the video, and then afterwards you actually have to sync it so that, the guitar playing the music and the video actually sort of fits, if that makes any sense. And I was being really particular. I needed to have proper lighting, I needed to have the proper camera, blah, 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 and I was completely floored at how much time it actually took. Now, the third video I was going to create on my amazing video blog was a video where I was going to talk about how I was writing my songs. Jesus, as I was sitting there and actually editing this enormously long video about me talking about this is how I write, this is how I wrote this and this song, blah, 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 blah. I became really bored, and I actually started to sort of fall asleep while I was standing there and editing my own video. And I was thinking, okay, if I'm falling asleep when I'm editing my own video, that's probably how people who are watching this are going to feel. But the bottom line was that I felt that it took up way too much of my time, and I felt like it made more sense to actually write new music and practice my guitar than to actually make videos where I was talking about how to practice on my guitar and how I was going to write my songs. So no, I felt like it took up way too much of my time, and I thought that it was kind of silly to talk about doing things rather than doing things, okay? So I basically did 2 videos that I launched, and then I thought, nah, to hell with this. And I then went ahead and actually created something that went viral, that was obviously a musical project. Then I came back to blogging again, this time in writing, because people kept on asking me, do you have a blog? So I realized that this was very important to people and that there was a lot of curiosity, like, oh, why aren't you blogging? You should have one. So I started a written blog, and at first it was a parody because I wasn't really sure what to blog about. I saw that my life was totally unbloggable. So it was kind of like uninteresting entries, in my honest opinion. But the funny thing though is that these entries, they performed really well. So I actually managed to get a lot of readers. Now, at a certain point, I actually found my blog identity. And my blog identity turned out to be me writing about politics, religion, books, ideas, all those sort of things that are potentially inflammatory, potentially controversial, and will always be divisive. So that's when I really found myself as a blogger. And as a writer, there's no end to how many blog posts I was making when I was writing about this, because this is something that genuinely interests me. However, I don't necessarily think that that is a good idea when you are an artist, for the simple reason that if you actually have real fans, then people will kind of put you up on a pedestal, if that makes any sense, and news and politics and these type of things, they are not really sort of a part of you, right, in a way, even if you write political lyrics, which is what I have done for the majority of my music career. So I found myself when I was writing about things that genuinely interested me. However, and this is where it gets interesting, the kind of posts that were actually trending on my blog were posts where I was writing about totally uninteresting things. So I thought to myself that, okay, maybe I should try to be smart, which is what bloggers are. They're smart people. I should just write about the sort of topics that people are clicking on and that are performing really well. So I then decided I was going to rebrand myself as this influencer and look at my statistics and sort of keywords and things, and that was going to be my blogging As a result, I actually became really inconsistent rather than me posting all the time, because I had a really strong raison d'etre. All of that went out the window, and I became really sort of sloppy with posting because this topic just didn't interest me. And at a certain point I just quit my blog because I saw no point in doing it anymore. Okay, so I think, you know, when it comes to having a blog, my personal experience is that you need to talk about something or write about something that genuinely interests you. And as an artist, I genuinely think that it is cool to have some mystery, and that it is kind of lame if you're going to try to monetize all aspects of what you're doing. And yeah, you can definitely become guilty of oversharing. So I was trying to think about, okay, I should try to make a video blog, but what should I talk about on TikTok? And I figured that, well, I like to pay attention to online business owners and people who make money online. That interests me. So that is what I'm trying to do here. And let's see how it goes, because this is something that I am paying attention to and that I like doing.